A wealthy heiress worth tens of millions goes on a blind date for the first time. When she finds out that the young man's monthly salary is only 10,000 yuan, she immediately shows off her unparalleled sense of superiority. When I go out with friends for tea or coffee, I might easily spend 500 yuan in one go. The young man is left completely stunned after hearing this, realizing that the girl in front of him is no ordinary person, but before he can even react,
she immediately suggests that as long as he joins her company, she can give him the kind of life he wants. In my industry, compared to yours, the working hours are definitely more flexible. I think you might have more opportunities for growth in my field. Yes, you.
Have you ever considered it? Switching to another industry. Faced with an almost irresistible temptation, the young man did not lose himself. He immediately stated that a man should have his own career, and he doesn't want others to think he's living off a woman. First, I don't really understand your industry very well. Second, I just can't bring myself to lower my head and work for my own girlfriend. At the same time, the young man was also very curious. What kind of family background does this girl have to give her such a strong sense of superiority? The girl's name is Sun Ki. She's 26 years old and works as a graphic designer. Not only does she own a house and a car, but she also earns 50,000 yuan a month. On top of that, Xiao Ke is not only attractive and well-built, but her family is also very well off. Her parents each earn over $1 million a year. Faced with such an outstanding girl, the show's producers naturally didn't dare to be careless. They quickly matched her with a very handsome male guest. Mr. Zhang is 27 years old and currently runs a cake shop. His monthly income is around 7,000 yuan. At first, their conversation was quite pleasant, and Xiao Ke was also very satisfied with Mr. Zhang's ambition. But when she learned that Mr. Zhang not only had to bake cakes every day, but also deliver them himself, leaving him with no time to spend with her, she immediately revealed her privileged side, saying, "I can help you rent a car for deliveries or something like that." Mr. Zhang couldn't help but laugh and cry at her suggestion, honestly explaining that he was just running a small business and didn't have the means for that at the moment, and that it was better to stay grounded. Xiao Ke saw that Mr. Zhang was both hardworking and down to earth. Her fondness for him instantly grew, so she generously said, "If we end up together, I can help you. I have the means to do so." As soon as she said this, Mr. Zhang immediately became unhappy. He felt that the girl was acting too much like a spoiled princess, and even a bit disrespectful toward him. Besides, he was quite satisfied with his current way of life. Although he didn't earn much, it was enough to support himself, and at least he wasn't relying on his family for help, whether he made money or not. At the very least, you have a good family background because your parents provide for you. No one provides for me. I can only rely on myself to earn a living. Of course, Xiao Ke understood the underlying meaning in Mr. Zhang's words, but surprisingly, she wasn't upset at all after hearing this. "So what you mean is that I'm just living off my parents, right? It's not like that. Even though my parents might make millions a year, I have my own abilities. My monthly income can also reach 30 to 50,000, so I can support myself too." No matter how Xiao Ke explained, Mr. Zhang still felt there was too big a gap between them. One worked for passion, the other for survival. If the two of them really ended up together in the future, the pressure on him would
be huge. If we really got married one day, I'd be afraid that I wouldn't be able to contribute as much as you do, and my parents wouldn't be able to help as much as yours either.
It just feels unbalanced, and it makes me feel uneasy inside. Clearly, there are major differences in their perspectives. So, in the following conversation, Xiao Ke stopped beating around the bush and boldly expressed her own thoughts. "Since I'm the only daughter in my family, if we have a son, he would take my family's surname. Would you mind that?" "Of course I'd mind," he replied. "After all, I'm the man." Mr. Zhang never expected her to make such an unreasonable request and immediately expressed his feelings. If the child really takes the mother's surname, how is that any different from marrying into the wife's family? In the future, in front of my parents and relatives, I would never be able to hold my head up high. Seeing that Mr. Zhang was so firm in his stance, Xiao Ke had no choice but to compromise and put forward another condition. After marriage, she must be the one in charge. "If you really can't accept the surname issue, then after we get married, you'll have to listen to me in every aspect, big or small decisions." Clearly, Xiao Ke's words always carried a sense of superiority. She believed that if someone wanted to be with her, they would have to choose one of these two conditions. Unless you can be her equal in terms of family background. Mr. Zhang felt that this was completely beyond his bottom line. Although he also wanted to change his fate, he didn't want to do it in such a humiliating way. In the end, their blind date could only end in failure. It seems that while material conditions are certainly important in blind dates, it's also essential to learn to respect each other. Wouldn't you all agree? A 28-year-old laid-back young man bluntly said during his blind date that he doesn't need to work at all because he has already achieved the happy life he was pursuing.
Why make money? Why do we work so hard to earn money, and what is it all for? Making money is just to live happily, but I'm already very happy now. I've already achieved my ultimate goal, so why should I still go to work? Even though he is often misunderstood by many people, he always sticks to his own attitude and principles in life. I'm a very laid-back person. I don't pursue great wealth or high status. Just living an ordinary, peaceful life every day is enough for me. This is also a way of living. I earn a lot every day, and I spend a lot every day, and that's fine. Not everyone
has to be extremely ambitious. In my view, there's absolutely no need to buy a house or a car. Wow, I have to admit, as the editor, I'm really a bit inexperienced. I've heard of women asking for a house and a car, but it's the first time I've seen a man bring it up. And that's not all. When the matchmaker asked the young man about his requirements for his partner's looks, his answer was even more original. "Do you prefer someone prettier, in terms of appearance?" As beautiful as Sister Feng, as beautiful as Sister Feng. The young man's name is Luo Lin. He's 28 years old this year and currently works as a freelancer, earning between 2,000 and 3,000 yuan. Although his income isn't high right now, Luo once had a stable job. He worked as an accountant at a well-known company for 4 years, only choosing to resign last year. It wasn't until this past year that I started reflecting on myself, and I realized that life felt too complicated. Even after a year, I still haven't figured things out. Although he's a bit confused about his future direction in life, he still wants to date, and the matchmaker didn't keep Miss Luo waiting for long. Very soon, the matchmaker arranged a female guest for him. Xia Rui is 23 years old this year and currently works as a dance live streamer. Although Rui's career has just begun, thanks to her outstanding figure, looks, and her sexy, captivating dance moves, she has already achieved some success in the industry, accumulating a large fan base and considerable popularity. As expected, the moment Luo saw Rui for the first time, he was deeply attracted by her unique aura and enchanting dance. Rui was also quite satisfied with Luo's honest and cute appearance, thinking he was very handsome. Her figure was absolutely perfect, a bit like a character from an anime, and that Baymax was really cute. Originally, everyone thought this was a good start, but unexpectedly, the very first thing Luo said instantly brought the atmosphere down to freezing point. Meeting for the first time, eating together is too awkward. Let's eat separately for now, let's just eat separately. From the incredulous expressions on Rui and her best friend's faces, you could tell just how awkward the situation was. However, although Rui was displeased in her heart, she still maintained her composure and graciously agreed. Her best friend was less easygoing than Rui. She felt it was perfectly normal for two people to have a meal together. In her opinion, the male guest was being stingy and afraid to spend money. The matchmaker thought Luo's approach was inappropriate, so she went to talk to him and asked about his reasoning. Even if your income is very high in the future, will you still insist on splitting the bill? Women are half the sky, and if that's the case, shouldn't half the sky pay half as well? It seems that Xiaoluo has his own unique views on spending and on love, so there's not much more we can say. But what he did next took everyone by surprise. Instead of going into the shop right in front of him, Xiaoluo chose to sit outside on the open-air chairs and chat, claiming it was to enjoy the sunshine. Facing the camera, Xiaoluo calmly and confidently explained his reasoning without the slightest embarrassment. Why do I choose to sit on the outdoor chairs instead of inside? Why not sit there? The tea shop, because you have to spend money inside the tea shop. I left in a hurry today and didn't bring any money, so I'm just sitting outside where it doesn't cost anything. Oh my goodness, I really have to say, Rui is truly patient to still be willing to keep chatting with him after all this. In the conversation that followed, Xiaoluo also mentioned that he works part-time as a security guard. Not only does this mean he can avoid struggling for 30 years, but he can also start enjoying retirement early, beginning his hard work only at 40. I started to think that maybe I should just retire right away. I thought, well, if I start retiring now, wouldn't I just be at 40 already? Why do you have that kind of idea? Like, compared to normal people, because I want to be different, I want to go straight to the finish line. After hearing this, Rui was completely stunned. She couldn't understand how Xiaoluo, being so young, could have such a bizarre idea. Security guards only make a small salary, so what would he do if his parents got sick in the future and needed money? But Xiaoluo didn't care at all, saying that his parents have medical insurance. There's no need to work hard myself at all. Just staying by my parents' side is the greatest act of filial piety. You know how they say, when a child wants to care for their parents, but the parents are no longer there. Well, I'm always with them now. And as for the others around me, they usually only go as far as level 9 at most. Not only that, Xiaoluo also thinks that Rui is too beautiful and sexy. Although she really likes her, she doesn't think she's suitable for marriage because she believes that women who are a bit less attractive tend to be more loyal and less likely to be unfaithful. She doesn't like sexy beauties. She prefers someone like Sister Feng, someone with a darker complexion, shorter and a bit chubby. When Rui heard this, she was completely dumbfounded, feeling like Xiaoluo was just joking. Soon, they reached the end. To ease the situation, she also made it clear that she wouldn't hold hands. Under the matchmaker's persistent questioning, she finally revealed her true thoughts. Miss, it's because you're too beautiful, and your income is quite high. As for your partner's income, you expect 4,000 or 5,000. I feel that's too much. It seems that what Xiaoluo really doesn't like isn't beautiful women, but rather making money. Faced with such a reason, Rui could only choose to let go. At the end of the show, let's wish Xiaolu that she finds her own Sister Feng soon. The 38-year-old little princess refused her boyfriend's marriage proposals 8 times over the past 8 years in order to motivate him to work harder. When she finally made up her mind to settle down with him, she unexpectedly received news of his wedding to someone else. Holding the wedding invitation in her hand, the little princess could no longer hold back and broke down in tears.
The man who hurt me, the one my father wanted me to marry, is getting married soon, but the bride isn't me. He's getting married, but the bride isn't me. There is nothing more painful in this world than this. At this moment, the little princess is heartbroken. She lets her tears fall, soaking her clothes. Thinking back on over 2,000 days and nights with her boyfriend, they were inseparable, making vows as strong as mountains, but now it's all fleeting as clouds. You loved me in 2007, 2008, and 2009. You said you wanted to marry me, to take me as your wife, to hold my hand and walk through life. All those memories are still vivid.
He promised they would never be apart for all eternity. But now, just because she refused her boyfriend's 8th proposal, he turned around and took another woman's hand. The little princess felt a mix of emotions, as if a bottle of spices had been knocked over. Every feeling imaginable was there. Yes, how many 8 years does a person get in life? 8 years of youth, and all she got in return was her boyfriend's betrayal. How could the little princess possibly swallow this humiliation? You lied to me so bitterly, you wasted my youth and you hurt my feelings. With tears streaming down her face, the little princess cursed her boyfriend, calling him a scumbag and a heartless man who had let down all her painstaking devotion. It turns out the little princess's name is Yue. 8 years ago, she attended a matchmaking party. Back then, she was full of youthful energy, gentle and charming, the little princess in the hearts of many men. It was from that moment on that this man began to pursue her madly, and she in turn was deeply attracted by his artistic temperament. The two of them fell in love, and her boyfriend even promised to give Yue an incredibly romantic wedding abroad. She said, "He told me he would take me to a church for our wedding and then have our foreign friends bless us at the Roman square. He would hold my hand and a flock of doves would dance around us." Over the past 8 years, they experienced the laughter and tears of youth together, making countless vows of eternal love. However, Yue's boyfriend had limited financial means and couldn't give her a big villa or designer handbags. Therefore, she rejected her boyfriend's proposals many times. In Yue's view, the reason why she didn't agree was not because she didn't love him, but to encourage her boyfriend to work hard and create a better future together. However, her boyfriend didn't seem to fully understand her good intentions. Now, not only did he not make progress, but he also fell in love with someone else. Yue was very angry about this. She didn't understand why she was only thinking about their future. Yet in the end, things turned out like this.
All my hard work, exhaustion, and longing for Xiangfei have been shattered, step by step.
And now you're holding another woman's hand, showing up here while I'm left heartbroken. But after all, a princess is still a princess. Even now she can still speak in poetry, and every word is filled with emotion. Unfortunately, no matter how deep the feelings, they can't win back her boyfriend's heart. Seeing Yue sobbing so desperately, the mediator was also filled with righteous indignation, and immediately decided to help her get justice. So, the mediator took Yue to her boyfriend's workplace, but they found nothing. The boyfriend had taken extended leave to prepare for the wedding. When Yue saw the items on the desk, she broke down in tears again, her sobs tugging at everyone's heartstrings. Fortunately, the mediator quickly managed to get in touch with the boyfriend. As soon as the boyfriend appeared, the mediator immediately began a round of soul-searching questions. Which girl do you want? Which girl do you want to marry? Seeing his younger brother rendered speechless, the boyfriend's older brother couldn't sit still any longer, and suddenly jumped in with a shocking revelation. According to the older brother, it turns out the younger brother had already been married once before. It was because of Yue's involvement that he got divorced. At this point, even the mediator was stunned. Turns out neither of these two are easy to deal with, but since things had already come to this, the mediator had no choice but to grit their teeth and continue mediating. What happened next was even more dramatic. Yue revealed that she was pregnant, claiming it happened when her boyfriend visited her in Shenzhen last time. This made the situation even more complicated and confusing. The boyfriend was completely baffled, insisting that it was impossible. He admitted that he did go to Shenzhen to see Yue, but he only stayed for half an hour, and her younger sister was present the whole time. He just took a quick look and then left. Nothing happened between the two of them, so there's no way Yue could be pregnant with his child. In fact, she believed that the child wasn't his at all, and might belong to someone else. Upon hearing this, Yue flew into a rage and started throwing punches, shouting, "You're lying, you're slandering me, you're trying to escape responsibility for your own wrongdoing." The two of them kept arguing and couldn't reach an agreement, and the situation quickly got out of control. The mediator standing by was left completely stunned by what was happening. The helplessness in their hearts was even more bitter than eating bitter herbs. After a lot of effort, the two finally calmed down. Facing the mediator, the boyfriend poured out his grievances. He believed that Yue looked down on him for being too poor, and that was why she kept stringing him along for 18 years, slowly wasting away her youth. Feeling forced, and with no other choice, she eventually decided to marry someone else. Watching her boyfriend spout such nonsense with a straight face, Yue once again lost her composure. She loudly denounced this ungrateful man, demanding, "You have to give me an explanation, give me justice, give me an answer. What am I supposed to do from now on? My life has already been ruined by you." At this point, no matter how many tears she shed, they could no longer move her boyfriend's heart. In order to resolve the matter as soon as possible, Sister Park could only try to persuade Yue to let go. The boyfriend also stated that there was no possibility for the two of them to get back together. At most, he could apologize and offer some financial compensation. However, Yue was not someone to be trifled with either. Although he was heartbroken, he had no intention of letting things go and was determined to give his boyfriend an unforgettable wedding. So, on the day of the wedding, he stormed into the venue with chat records and medical reports in hand. The scene was practically a real-life version of an ex causing chaos at a wedding. He insisted that since we both went to Jiaotong University, he couldn't believe he had been strung along for 8 years. Yue's relentless confrontation of her boyfriend's heartless actions only resulted in criticism from his family and chaos at the wedding. Amid the heated arguments and shoving, Yueyu's heart was torn to pieces. She finally understood that some people, once missed, can never be regained. The man who had once made countless promises was now someone else's groom, and their story could only fade away like a passing cloud. Just how proud can a 26-year-old adorable princess be on a blind date? Was it always like this before? Do you think I usually buy those educational clothes? I don't think they're expensive at all. Besides, only clothes at that price range are suitable for me. They match my style. When my younger brother met the other party for the first time, he insisted that they had to buy her a dress worth 1,900 yen, and even said that only clothes at that price could be worthy of her. To her, it's just a dress. Spending over 1,000 yen is totally normal. She thought it was a bit expensive, but I felt she was being stingy. Although the girl doesn't have a steady income right now, buying expensive clothes is very easy for her because she can rely on her stunning beauty and irresistible charm. She makes men all over the world compete to spend money on her. She even demanded, during a blind date, that the other party must give her 200,000 yuan in cash. Opening a shop requires capital, and I'm still a bit short on funds, maybe about 200,000 yuan. If I do open it, could you help support me a little? The girl's name is Yu Jiayi, 26 years old, from Chongqing, 160 meters tall. Her current job is in micro-business, and she doesn't have a stable monthly income. On several matchmaking shows, her criteria for choosing a partner have always been very clear. The man needs a house, a car, earns 500,000 yuan a year, and gives her 200,000 yuan. Most importantly, on every holiday he must prepare some expensive clothes and cosmetics for her, because for a little princess like her, what matters most is romance and a sense of ceremony. She really likes things to be romantic, enjoys a bit of romance, and likes little surprises in daily life. Based on Jiai's requirements, the show quickly matched her with a victim. Liao Tianxiang, 26 years old, from Chongqing, is 1.75 meters tall, and currently works as a restaurant supervisor, with a monthly income of about 6,000 yuan. After the two met, Jiai immediately acted very spoiled and proud. Because she believes that her status as a micro-business boss is very impressive. I think being in micro-business is great. Now micro-businesses are officially recognized by the state, and with the current internet trends being so promising. Jiayi originally thought that after she talked about the bright future of micro-business, the guy would feel very inferior. But unexpectedly, he boldly questioned Jiayi's ideas. The man believed that, after all, micro-business is an unstable industry, so it should only be considered a side job. Upon hearing that he dared to comment on her work, Jiayi immediately showed strong dissatisfaction.
Actually, I still really like my micro-business industry, but I feel that the male guest is a bit prejudiced. He doesn't seem very supportive of the micro-business field. Jiayi said that she really wants to grow her micro-business and make it stronger, and she also wants to open her own physical store offline. Because Jiayi believes that a little fairy like her absolutely cannot work for others. She said, "So I want to open a physical store in the city. I just don't want to work for someone else."
Working for others isn't free, and you can't really make money that way. Seeing that the guy didn't argue back, Jiayi took the opportunity to ask if he could provide 200,000 yuan in support when she opens her store. Just the funds, since she's still a little short. She said, "At that time, I'll probably be short by about 200,000 yuan because the renovation, storefront fees, all those are really expensive. And then there's also the cost of stocking up on goods."
So, when the time comes, if I do open the store, could you help support me a little? Jiayi believes that it's only natural for a man to spend money on her, since she's always surrounded by guys who are eager to please her. But to her surprise, the guy actually turned down her request, albeit politely. He explained that since he comes from a single-parent family, his parents can't offer him any help, and he's had to work hard on his own since he was a child. That's why, at the moment, he isn't in a position to support Jiayi financially. Over the years, he's only managed to save up enough for a down payment on a house. Yet despite being so resilient and hardworking, he still hasn't earned Jiayi's approval. Besides, in Chongqing, he doesn't even own a house or a car, so the main issue is really about having a house and a car. Jiayi believes that having a house and a car is the most basic requirement for a man, and she only likes handsome, wealthy, and successful men. She doesn't want to have to struggle alongside her partner after marriage. In fact, Jiayi has always been a girl who's unwilling to give up any opportunity. So she decided to give him a test, since his family's financial situation is pretty average. That's why I thought, let's go shopping for a bit and see if he's willing to spend money on the girl's side. Jiayi suggested that if he could buy her an expensive piece of clothing, then she might consider getting to know him further. When they arrived at the mall, the guy was very enthusiastic and took the initiative to help Jiayi pick out clothes, but unexpectedly, his kindness actually made her feel very repulsed. I didn't even dare to look at any of the clothes he picked. Jiayi felt that not only did he have terrible taste, but he also didn't realize that only expensive clothes would be worthy of her. So Jiayi randomly picked out a trench coat that cost 2,000 yuan, and bluntly said she hoped the guy would buy it for her. But when the guy saw the price tag, he suddenly hesitated. He thought that a 2,000 yuan trench coat was already 1/3 of his monthly salary, and that they could easily choose something with a better price-performance ratio. Seeing that the guy didn't want to pay, Jiayi immediately became very impatient. She immediately said that she always wore clothes at this price point, and that only clothes this expensive were worthy of her. But no matter how much Jia acted cute or argued, the guy still refused to change his principles. Helpless, Jia had no choice but to give up. I actually really liked that coat, but the male guest, I noticed he never went to buy it for me. I felt like he was unwilling, like he just didn't want to spend money on me. It just felt a bit stingy. Jia was really dissatisfied with the guy for not buying the clothes, so she lost interest in shopping and instead went straight to the host to share her thoughts, saying, "It doesn't really feel like a date anymore. I just don't see the point in continuing." Why is that? Oh, it was just when we were shopping for clothes earlier. I felt like, it was just a piece of clothing, and even though it cost over 1,000 yuan, that's pretty normal, right? But he thought it was a bit expensive, and I felt he was being stingy. The male guest's behavior completely made Jia lose her patience, so she resolutely decided to end the blind date. Her only regret was that he didn't buy her that 2,000 yuan coat. So, what do you think about such a cute little fairy?